McCain.
Senator Lee, Senator Flake, Senator Wyden, Senator Manchin, thank you. You mentioned, Senator Lee, that in the West, water is for fighting. You left out, Mark Twain said that in the West, water is for fighting, whiskey is for drinking. It was his complete statement. For the record, thank you for an opportunity to...
My apologies. That was the Mormon in me just editing that for television.
My predecessor, Barry Goldwater, once said that in Arizona we have so little water the trees chase the dogs. I would not want to enter that in the record. But anyway, I'm proud to co-sponsor the legislation, the Western Water Supply and Planning Enhancement Act. I thank Senator Flake for his leadership on this piece of legislation. I want to thank our colleagues, Senator Heller, Senator Brasso, Senator Daines, and Senator Risch. I'm grateful that the subcommittee will receive testimony from Mr. Tom Bishotsky, the Director of Arizona Department of Water Resources. Tom is one of Arizona's foremost experts on water policy, and I applaud his leadership and that of our Governor, Doug Ducey. I believe water and fire are the defining environmental issues of the 21st century. Both issues are connected. Decreased levels of rain runoff and snowmelt have stressed our water supplies and degraded the ecosystems of our fire-prone forests. My home state of Arizona, like much of the West, is coping with its 16th consecutive year of drought, and the drought is taking its toll. According to the U.S. Geological Service, treasured rivers in my home state, like the Verde River and the free-flowing San Pedro River, could run dry within the next 80 years. Mr. Chairman, 80% of our drought-stressed forests in Arizona have been consumed by wildfire in the last 20 years. You can do the math and figure out what's going to happen to the national forest of the state of Arizona. This is a critical, crucial, compelling issue. And it's time we sat down together, I would say, to Senator Feinstein, and I thank Senator Wyden for his continued efforts cooperation to address this issue. If water levels in Lake Mead drop below the 1,075-foot mark, the Interior Department will trigger cutbacks in Colorado River water for the basin states. Due to Arizona's junior water right, a shortage would impact water supplies for more than 5 million people across Phoenix, Tucson, and Yuma. Today, there's 50% likelihood that the first round of cutbacks will occur in 2018. Arizona planned for this eventuality and will withstand these initial shortages because of investments in conservation, reservoir construction, and groundwater banking. But with Lake Mead levels at their lowest since it was filled, there is no question that deeper shortages are looming. The United States will pay a profound environmental and economic price if greater attention and resources aren't devoted to this issue. The bill we propose is a combination of our top strategies for curtailing the drought at the federal level. Among other things, the legislation proposes more equitable water storage arrangements for states whose proactive conservation keeps water in Lake Mead. We also propose to give the Forest Service expedited authorities for fire prevention, thinning near reservoirs. We need to thin our forests, Mr. Chairman. We need to thin our forests. If anyone has ever flown over a forest fire, as I have, and watched trees explode because of the fuel that is built up around those forests over many, many years, knows that we have to thin our forests. We have to propose to give the Forest Service expedite authorities for that thinning near reservoirs to guard against toxic ash runoff. The bill would develop a regional plan to eradicate the non-native salt cedar tree. Each salt cedar tree is estimated to consume about 200 gallons of water a day. I repeat, one salt cedar tree consumes about 200 gallons of water a day, and it's all up and down our rivers and the Colorado River, as the chairman well knows. The Central Arizona Project estimates that removing salt cedar, replanting with native vegetation, and that second part of the equation is critical, like cottonwood and willows, could save up to 860,000 acre-feet of water across the lower basin. I repeat, 860,000 acre-feet. I've seen salt cedar removal projects in work in places like the Yuma Crossing National Heritage, where only 400 acres of salt cedar stretching 2 stories high were restored as wetlands habitat. Our bill would augment the work of the Kazakhstan salt cedar beetle. Now, not many Americans are familiar with the Kazakhstan salt cedar beetle. This wonderful little beetle, the best thing I've ever heard of that might have come from Kazakhstan, is now eating its way down the Colorado River and killing the salt cedar. That's the good news. The bad news is, Mr. Chairman, we're not replacing the dead salt cedar. But God bless the Kazakhstan salt cedar beetle. Some biologists predict that the beetle will populate most of the Colorado River corridor by 2020. I believe it's prudent to begin planning for the beetle's presence and move aggressively on these and other innovative water strategies covered under our bill. Mr. Chairman, I don't want to take much more time in the committee. I believe that the United States of America and those of us who are seeing a threat to the lives and the lifestyle of our children and our grandchildren should get together and fix this problem. We have not faced a problem that we can't fix. But right now, this threat, in the 14th or 15th year of a drought, is a direct threat to our lives and that of our children and our grandchildren. And I think we owe it to them to act in a most constructive fashion. And I would like to, again, ask California to return the water they have stolen from us. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.